this morning, and there is a lot going on in the world of, well, sports.
Yes, good morning. Am I awake now? Are my eyes open? Am
Yes,
I
they are.
dreaming?
They
Okay,
they are
okay.
weak. Yeah.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the locker room. Wow, what happened? They were buying market till midnight yesterday. If you see the hustle for crayfish, pra 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 pra. They even bought one market. I was shocked. 107 million pounds.
That's a lot of crayfish.
My back is still paining me from the effect. All because this guy was on a squad with Messi. That's all I will say
Are we
on
talking
that
about
matter.
Enzo?
I'm just saying it where I said it. People that know what their clubs did are the ones that are guilty and defending themselves. But so today we'll talk about the market, that night market that happened yesterday. So once I call the club, you tell me whether where the player fits, how he fits, is a good buy, is it not a good buy, and then maybe we can touch on Manchester United playing Nottingham Forest today, because that's really of no consequence. They've already won it in the first leg. But let's just talk about it. So we'll talk about all that on the locker room today. But first of all, Zibi is going to tell you the ways you can join us to talk about the late night market we had. So
All
starting from
right.
WhatsApp.
WhatsApp number 0809 4440981. You can tweet us smooth981, and don't forget YouTube. Yes, we're streaming this live. Hi YouTube. Just search for smooth981, and don't forget to subscribe as well so you can catch all our live streams at any point all through the day.
All right, and today we are definitely opening the phone lines. Once we finish with the other stories, we are going to open the phone lines for every. I kid you not, from the very first story of last night's market, people must start talking.
Zero
So
one double four eight nine nine eight one. Have it on speed dial, by the way. Okay, so can we dive in through the stories?
yes, let's start with those.
Okay, Alexander Zverev to face no disciplinary action after domestic abuse allegations. Ailish McColgan says more work is needed on possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Newcastle CF Southampton to reach League Cup final. Jorginho moves from Chelsea to the Gunners in a deal worth 12 million.
Get ready to call us on that story.
Man United signed Sabitzer on loan after Eriksen injury. Chelsea signed Fernandes for Premier League record. Darmian sends Inter into Coppa Italia semi-finals, and Matt Doherty joins Atletico Madrid after being released by the Spurs.
In fact, that one, they tore up his contract mutually. He held one side, Tottenham held one side, they tore up the contract.
Never
just
shall
so they
we
could
meet.
go. And good luck and good luck. So let's start from the very first story with Alexander Zverev and his ex-girlfriend. Yeah.
Now, the former world number two will not face disciplinary action, and this is following an investigation into allegations of domestic abuse made by the German player's former girlfriend, Olia Sharipova. Now, in 2020, she'd accused Zverev of violence and emotional abuse, which he denied.
Yes, so there was that whole story, and Sasha Zverev had this reputation. Now, say about this before he starts to shout, hey, another person has been falsely accused. Once it has happened a while ago, you cannot prove much. Now, I think she had this publication. She told this newspaper, she almost killed herself. How his father came to yell at her that, look, if you want to die, don't die here. Like, don't put my son in trouble. The other one was like, oh, I want to play now, and you're putting me in too much trouble. So apparently, she was going through it with Sasha Zverev. Now, she was not the only one. Sasha Zverev also had an ex-girlfriend who had a baby for him and said he will never see the baby. They've made up now, though. He has seen his baby, even posted the baby. But at the time when these accusations were coming, that girl was also making her own statement about. She didn't say anything on why. She just said that Sasha Zverev was such a horrible person and he was never going to see the baby. So
but has he changed? I mean, he's seen the baby now. So.
Yeah, I don't know what was happening in that moment in his life, but I don't know. But what it is that the ATP decided that they're going to conduct their own investigations. They said they spoke with friends, they spoke with family members, and then they saw some text messages, but there was not ample evidence and eyewitness to prove that this happened. So I want to ask, if I wanted to knock someone around, will I wait for eyewitness? I will do it in the privacy of our room, which is where she claimed that this thing happened. So again, it's tricky, it's hard to prove that there was domestic violence. And and so he's not going to face any investigation. He'd also sued her on the publication. I don't know how that lawsuit went, but she was insistent that she did suffer emotional and sometimes physical abuse. Or sometimes she said he lifted her up by the neck, and push her against the wall. So yeah, I mean, if he didn't knock her out Mike Tyson style, I'm not sure that they can prove that.
Wow.
If somebody grabs.
What did she file a report?
Immediately, no. So she didn't do all these things immediately. She was
that
like,
could have helped.
That could have helped. So those are the things. It's like, somebody that came to say she was raped and then she went to take her back to wash off that she was disgusted. I was like, yeah, you just washed off all the evidence.
Right.
Every single evidence, you washed it away. So how do you prove? And so some of these things are like that. But again, what it means is that the ATP has decided that they're going to put safeguarding measures. And so if these kind of things are reported immediately or these kind of things happen, then they can immediately deal with it. But before, ATP had most in general, if somebody had any domestic violence case, they didn't put their mouth in it. They weren't involved. And this Sasha Zverev own is because it was becoming, it was her, it was another girl talking about how Sasha Zverev had bad behavior. People were just like, you have to investigate something.
Well, let's be honest. I don't think the ATP has the right resources to investigate something of this magnitude.
And they're not. So ATP is a little different from, like the footballers, like the FIFA, the club union. So if, let's say, even with the Mason Greenwood case, the Mason Greenwood case is the police that is
investigating and
they just suspended him from there. ATP doesn't, except the police was investigating somebody for something massive, then ATP will say, we are not inviting you to our tournament, because they're really just tournament organizers,
right?
Per se. They don't have like a union to, so that's part of the problem. But yeah, he's cleared, he's good to go, he's very happy, he's ready to focus on his tennis, and hopefully he won't double fault on match points. But those are right now he's cleared. So those are the issues.
Okay. So are we going on to this Eilish story?
Yeah, we have to go on to
Okay. So Eilish McColgan, who is one of Britain's leading long distance runners, says a lot more work needs to be done around the possible advantages of
you have to say
transgender women competing in elite female athletics.
So here is the problem that a lot of people have. Women are not allowed to compete in tournaments because they have high testosterone level, but people that are transgender can compete. So that's where people are complaining about that. You can't have double standards now. At the end of the day, the IOC, the Athletics Federation, they're saying, you know what, if you reduce your testosterone level to a particular if you reduce your testosterone level in your body to a particular level, you can compete even if you are transgender. The problem with it is that when you transgender from male to female, your physiology is still male, so you still have all the muscle advantage, and we're talking long distance now. You still have all the physiological advantage, so testosterone cannot be the only parameter. So the women are complaining that, look, at the end of the day, we found our niche, we are competing with each other, winning medals, and next thing, men are now competitors and winning all the medals.
Some man just decides to change his name and then
just think about it. If LeBron decides tomorrow, I'm just saying, if LeBron decides tomorrow that I'm going to play in the WNBA, and he takes the drugs and he reduces his testosterone, he will score,
of course,
100 points a game.
Wow.
I'm sorry, there's no, because look at that body.
I know. I mean, these are people that are adults who have already been formed.
Do you understand? So physiologically, he has the advantage. That is that body. And he just he paints his nails, he puckers his lips, he fixes his weave, and he takes the medicine to reduce his testosterone to the lowest level. He will still have an advantage. So she's just saying, I know that, transgender, that the IOC and the IWF are trying to be politically correct. I understand that they're trying to be fair to all kinds of gender, but still
they're not being fair to all genders.
Yeah, so that's
the women are at a disadvantage.
So that's what
now.
She said at the end of the day, cis women are still at a disadvantage.
What is cis women?
Because those women that were born a woman.
So I'm a cis woman?
Yeah.
I'm a woman, please. I don't know all these labels.
We have to, you now have to separate. So women that were born women are still at a disadvantage.
Right.
Transgender now have. So she's saying that we know that people have tried, but people are not trying very enough, because the truth of the matter is, at the end of the day, athletes, women that have high testosterone produce naturally.
Like
They're not
Kester
taking
Semenya.
like Castor and I've forgotten the other African ladies. Yeah, a lot of them. The other Indian lady too that they castigated until she went to court and she could compete. You don't let them compete. Then you wake up in the morning and say, oh well, let's just be politically correct.
Wow.
They play. That's all I can say.
Okay, so Newcastle United has booked their place in the first major final in 24 years, and this is by overcoming Southampton 2-1 at home on Tuesday in the League Cup semi-final second leg, and they've sealed that 3-1 victory on aggregate.
Yes, so this one, I think, when you saw both teams head to head, it kind of felt like, regardless of the fact that Southampton knocked out Manchester City in a two-legged tie between Newcastle and Southampton, Newcastle were kind of going to be the winner. They are on an upward momentum right now. They're a better team. They're playing with confidence. Everything seems to be working for them. And I know a lot of people said, oh, once the Saudi money came, they started being better. But if you look at the players that Newcastle have individually, they haven't really changed much from the other teams. I think about it, their star players, their fantastic players, are still Joe Linton and Almiron that used to score 2 goals per season. But all of a sudden, they're scoring goals. Do you understand? Yesterday, it was one of the brothers that scored the first 2 goals, and then Adams equalized for Southampton. But you look at the team, you don't really hear any star name. It's not like Newcastle got Saudi money and all of a sudden they went to buy Neymar. No, that's not what they did. So at the end of the day, yes, the money came in, but the players are still not the best players in the world or the most fantastic players you'd see in the Premier League, but they're getting the results. So now they've made it all the way to the finals. Southampton looked like they were going to make a game out of it in the second half, but they were just never really clinical and never really direct. So at the end of the day, Newcastle rightfully going to the finals. They await the winners of Manchester United versus Nottingham Forest tonight. Definitely Manchester United that is going through based on the results of the first leg. So wait to see how it pans out. But so far, Newcastle is waiting for their first trophy in 60-something years.
Wow.
Yes.
It's almost time to root for them.
Yeah, I was born and Newcastle hadn't won a trophy. I know, because my father used to support Newcastle. I used to wonder why. Of all the teams in the world. All right. So let's take one message before we go on a break.
Okay. This message is from
Olumide from Lekki.
Okay, Olumide says the problem with domestic abuse is do you want to read it, Tega?
Is women have deliberately injured themselves as proof of abuse while lying against a man for whatever reason. A man spent over 10 years in jail over the false testimony of a woman made against him. It was additional evidence that freed the man after over a decade. This type of behavior makes it difficult for women who are truly abused from getting justice. I've been falsely accused in the past, so it's a sore point for me. Oh, I understand with you, Olumide, but a lot more women are abused and don't get justice than the few that lie and get people thrown in jail. So there are exceptions and there are rules. There are a lot more women. I kid you not, every woman that you have met at some point has been abused in one form or the other. It could be emotional, it could be verbal, but they don't even get justice. So I understand where you're coming from, and I totally agree. Like the woman that accused Neymar, and until this, she accused Neymar, and then when the video evidence came out, when the video evidence came out, we're like, you, this wicked woman. Yeah, so there are women like that, but there are also a lot of women that get abused and can't prove it. So I could totally understand. But when we come back, we'll be talking about last night's market. Let's take a quick break.
Music, it's smooth music.
Smooth.
Ladies and gentlemen.
So I understand, because every time this kind of thing happens, people just come out and say, oh, these women that lie.
Yeah.
For every one woman that lied, there are 5 that told, sorry,
and they're
10.
Like, and they're like 200 that never even spoke up.
Yes, there are 10 that told the truth and didn't get justice.
True, unfortunately.
So unfortunate. So unfortunate. So yes,
I still think that women that lie or men that lie should face charges because you can ruin someone's life.
Like that Neymar's own, I think she should have gone to jail.
So where is that?
So
no.
Exactly, especially and the police just dropped the case. No,
Like,
no,
it has
no.
to be. Maybe you should have sued her in like
Yeah, I
for
think at the end of
defamation.
the day, I think at the end of the day, if you check, if you search Google now with Neymar, the first stories that will come out would be that he
Yeah,
was,
accusation.
no, he has been absolved.
Oh,
I don't think me I will end it there. No, don't make a public retraction. No, go to jail. Like if you lie against me, that kind of lie, I don't want money. I want your life. Go to jail.
like that's so.
If I were Neymar, I'll just be like, I'm suing for defamation,
What's
and I
this
want
guy's
her to
name?
go to jail.
The black guy who was playing in one club in England, not Mason. Mason is young.
Benjamin Mendes.
Yes.
Oh, that one was terrible. So that one, so the reason why that was case cannot be proved. Half the problem is that those women are involved in
Oh,
exactly.
But these black athletes, why do they never learn?
See, so when you go and do stuff, so he will walk away. He will walk
But
away.
his career, and his
Yes,
name
but
is
his
dead.
career and his character, because they
Yeah.
were questionable. So not enough to prove, but not enough to say not enough to say guilty.
Yeah.
But not enough to say innocent.
So it's like there's a question mark: did he or didn't he?
And
No
because
clear vindication.
there are escorts involved.
Mm.
You know, like I remember
Questionable
remember that those days he came out and one day he came out and said he said he wanted South American escorts with big bum bum. The messages came out, I kid you not. I was like, are you ordering fish?
Like,
I want tilapia. I want
but these guys though, don't they have like agents and managers and family that tell them do not do this?
Look,
Oh my god.
Ballers are not the look athletes. When you get some amount of money, there's a level of grace.
Well, you learn from every other oh my god.
But you see, they always think that they will get away with it. So you people just look at them and say, oh, because they're disciplined, they must have lived a good life. No, some of them, their parents were very poor, did not raise them at home, so they are really raised by their peers.
That's true though.
So all this lascivious behavior off the pitch is how they live.
Wow. What of Mason? What's his own situation?
I don't know what to say. So if his girlfriend if he can settle with girlfriend, maybe she'll withdraw the case. But there was a video.
Oh yeah, I saw that video and alright, I heard what was. You couldn't really see, you could hear what was. Oh my god.
And then you saw her face. So there was video. That's part of his own.
They didn't learn from our Kelly. Oh my god.
So bottom line, don't be hitting. So a lot of all these footballers, they don't even have home training.
Yeah.
You now expect the best of them.
That's
because
true.
they are celebrities now.
Freshly pressed, grapevine, the locker room, and more.
This is the locker room on Smooth 98.1. It's Zibby and Tega this morning with you. And Tega's getting ready to open the phone line.
All right. So we're going to open the phone lines for last night's market. We'll be talking. I see the messages already coming in. Calm down. So we're talking about Arsenal, Chelsea, and Manchester United's buy. But let's start with the first story about Jorginho. So when we finish talking about the stories, we'll tell you the phone numbers to call. All right. So let's talk about the Jorginho story.
Okay, now Arsenal have signed the Italian midfielder from Chelsea in a £12 million deal. Now, Arteta says Jorginho is a midfield player who has intelligence, deep leadership skills, and a huge amount of Premier League and international experience. So why did Chelsea let go of him and to Arsenal?
Isn't this what he said when they bought Willian and then Willian came to flop at Arsenal? All right, so let's first of all, let me yap Arsenal players more. So your work these days is just to be buying Chelsea retirees.
Oh, wow.
Yes, now that's how they bought William Gallas. They bought Peter Cech. Oh, from Chelsea. After Chelsea had used the good life out of those people, Arsenal now went to buy Peter Cech, masked Peter Cech. You know, that was a very different Peter Cech from the pre-mask. Then they bought William Gallas when Chelsea have sucked the orange dry. Then they bought William. Which other player did Arsenal buy from Chelsea when he was finished? Now they've bought Jorginho. However, I would say this. Arsenal did have an injury to Mohamed Elneny, and it was going to be a long injury. So I think they needed a midfielder, which is why they were going for Moses Caicedo. And then Moses Caicedo couldn't come through because his money was really high, and Arsenal didn't want to pay that money. So they got a stopgap in Jorginho. Jorginho's contract is 18 months. So I think it was that Elneny injury that provoked the need for another defensive midfielder. So what we are going to be talking about now, and as soon as we leave this topic, we move on to the next topic. So what we're going to be talking about now is Jorginho. Is he a good buy for Arsenal, and how does he fit into the team? The numbers to call are
0144899981.
again
0144899981.
So you're calling and you're telling us how Jorginho fits into Arsenal. Is it a good buy or is it a bad buy? And if it's a good buy, how does it fit into Arsenal and what will they benefit? So those are the numbers to call. But before we take those, the phone call. Okay, let's just take this phone call. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Yeah, what's your name and where are you calling from? All right, go right ahead with your summation. Is Jorginho a good buy for Arsenal and why?
A very smart buy. Tega.
Yeah.
Good job. Trying to take a swipe at Arsenal, saying Arsenal in players that have been squeezed off juice or orange juice. Whether it is pineapple juice or lime juice, we don't care. But Tega, let me tell you, back to seriousness, this is a very good buy. You have to understand, Caicedo was our first option, but Brighton was playing hardball. Player said he wanted to leave. Made it clear, posted it on his Instagram page, I think, gave reasons why he wanted to go.
Skipped training too.
Sorry? No, you didn't skip training.
Yeah.
Training. He posted, he sent a post, and then he was asked to stay away from training. Arsenal offered 70 million, they rejected, which was the second bid. The first one was around 60 or thereabouts. I believe that if Arsenal had upped the game to about 80, 90, they would have dealt, but I don't think football should be that way. Chelsea can go with their craze and what they do, but Arsenal has a structure and they've respected the structure. You can see it with the Modric deal as well, where they didn't want to go as high as Chelsea later went. So, but back to Jorginho. Jorginho is a very good buy. He's got, like Arteta said, he's got good experience. He knows that he will be a squad player. He's not going to start every game. As far as Partey is not injured, Xhaka is not injured, Jorginho knows that coming to Arsenal, he will play second fiddle. Then we've got many matches in the Europa League. That's something that he also, I think he will be a starter there. So for 12 million and the class he has, this guy 3 years ago came third in Ballon d'Or, mind you. You get, he's won so many trophies, so he's got experience. Look at Zinchenko. Zinchenko was not starting at Man City. He came to Arsenal. You can see the impact he's made at Arsenal today. This is something that I think Arteta has gone for. I applaud Arteta. I think.
Okay, so for you, Jorginho is a good buy. All right, so let's take some other calls, please. And if you're calling, please, can you limit your summations to maybe 2 minutes, because we don't have so much time. So you are calling us and you're telling us, is Jorginho a good buy for Arsenal and why? Before we take another phone call, let's take some messages. I can just see a sea of green everywhere. This one is from Olumide from Lekki. He says Chelsea once again has bought an entire team in one window. The last time they did this, Lampard was the manager. We saw how that panned out. In addition, Chelsea has faced 2 transfer bans in the past 7 years or so. What they have done this window should be enough to flout FFP rules and get them yet another transfer ban. All right, this is from Tosan. Tosan says,
congratulations to Newcastle. I'm so happy because my mom supports Newcastle since yesterday. My mom has been drinking wine to celebrate the win.
Oh, okay, so Olufemi Omotayo sends in this message. It says Chelsea have signed more players than wins in all competitions this season. Okay, and this is from Paz from Egbeda. He says,
happy new month, please. When will new signings play Champions League or Europa League? Why did Chelsea send fake documents to PSG concerning the Ziyech loan move?
Okay, so Ziyech was supposed to leave Chelsea according to them. Now PSG is blaming Ziyech for not PSG is blaming Chelsea for not sending the papers in time. So at first, I thought it was another fax machine issue. Maybe the fax machine was not working. But we're waiting to see how that story pans out because we really don't know. Let's take some messages from YouTube. All right.
Right. Aderogba says, let me help. Gallus, check. Louise, Willian, Jorginho. I've said it before. What will cost Arsenal this league is their lack of cutthroat deals. They lost Mudryk because of 5 million. Same with Felix.
All right.
Okay, there's another one. I wish I was a fly on the wall to witness the Enzo negotiations. 8.5-year contract. Todd is definitely exploiting the loopholes in FFP.
All right, and let's talk about that Chelsea deal now because we don't have enough of time.
All right, so Chelsea has signed the World Cup winner Enzo Fernandez from Benfica for a British record 121 million euros, and the one in pounds, the 106.8 million pounds eclipses the previous record of 100 million that Manchester City paid for Jack Grealish from Aston Villa in 2021.
Yes, and they've still not collected their values worth. But hey, but again, this price tag, if you ask me, I'm not saying that Enzo doesn't have great potential. It's just a huge price tag for him, and this is where my Arsene Wenger spirit comes out. And I probably would be like Arsenal. I'm not paying 80 million for Caicedo, except he can't. Look, he has to be able to be Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo all in one for me to pay that money for potential I've not seen. You know, because a lot of players have this potential. You put them on the page and never come to fruition. Look, I would say this money is ridiculous for Enzo Fernandez. It's ridiculous for him, but they've spread it again over 8 years. Remember what I said? How clubs get away with this thing? They spread that payment over 8 years to Benfica. So Benfica will be chopping good for 8 years. I also hear that River Plate has a benefit. So River Plate is the first club that sold Enzo Fernandez to Benfica. I hear that they have a cut in this money. That's how to do deals. You see that Remo deal that they signed to Inter Milan? I hope they put a clause that if somebody signs him from Inter Milan to somewhere else, Remo gets some money, because that'd be good. Yeah. That's a good way to sign it. But yeah, he's transferred. It's 8.5 years. They'll spread the payment over. So all those FFP rules, they haven't yet really flouted them. Where they would have problems is if they don't sell off some players, because to balance their books, to be playing all those salaries with those players may be costly. So let's take some messages. What you think about this deal? Now, what do you think about the Enzo Fernandez deal? He's a young player, and I'm sure he fits into Chelsea, but was this overpriced or was this just right? And I know Chelsea will be bragging, we have money, we have money.
0144899981, WhatsApp 0809 440
So Alex is not.
Yes, let's see what Chi Nancy has to say.
Okay.
Tega, Arsenal also bought David Luiz. Willian from Chelsea. Wow, these were finished products.
I'm with you. I know. I'm telling you, Arsenal will be buying retirees from Chelsea. Okay, Oluwaseun comes with a long one, and he says, "No, that's not the message. Wrong show." I think it's Tayo. Tayo now sends a message saying, "I hope Enzo signed for 600 years." The team didn't fly to Benfica for 8.5-year deals. He says Chelsea, for a club with limited scoring options, just sold their top spot kick taker in Jorginho. But what do I know? I guess it's Arsenal's gain, unless he's a double agent. I agree with you. And then he said Arsenal that priced Suarez for 40 million plus £1 is who we should now take serious in transfer window. Where's my popcorn? I don't care what you say. I'll be another Arsene Wenger. I'll price 20 million plus $1. That's what I'll be doing for players. All right, Emeka says,
Graham Potter, with all the money Chelsea has spent, he'd better win the EPL, Champions League, World Cup, AFCON, even Formula One. Imagine paying a private tutorial teacher big salary, your child is in blasting A's. Automatic sack is awaiting him. Onto the phone lines.
All right, the last phone call for today. Hello, good morning. What's your name and where you're calling from? Okay, go right ahead with your summation.
Why is everybody complaining about this? Real Madrid don't sign a player at 17 years ago for 70 million. Oh, 70. 7 plus 0. 15 years old. They are say a World Cup winner who won a World Cup, name of Benfica. Why is somebody talking about it? Somebody 17 years, 17 for Madrid spent 70 million on that player. You are not kick a ball. You don't know why I go to Real Madrid and Barcelona, everybody is right. When they go to that, nobody is talking.
Okay, thank you. I like the way he came with the questions that the guy hasn't kicked a ball,
Mm.
but they're paying for 70 million for a guy that hasn't kicked a ball. This guy must be a worry boy, that called.
All right, this one is from LK. What is money for? It is to be spent. Two-way sweets and a money killer. If the Enzo's contract was less than 8 years, I would have complained. But for 8 years, it's enough.
I knew. That's another Chelsea fan talking. All right, we'll take our last message and we'll wrap up for the day. Sorry we can't read all the messages, but let's see. Oh, this one has no name. Mayowa says, happy new month, ladies. Jorginho is a smart signing for Arsenal. They needed to cover for Partey, and now they have cover. Chelsea outsmarted the FFP rules. They bought players for the future because no UCL next season for them. And that's all we can take on the locker room. We'll see you again on Friday. For now, Zibi, take over.
Yes, indeed.
Music.
This is Mr. C. And you're listening to Smooth.
Sorry, it's so loud when we put on.
I know. You don't realize.